So hello and welcome to another episode of Stephen's Four Wheels. As you can see, I'm outside today with the B-Class. I've just given it a clean, and today's video is going to be looking at how I'm getting on with the B-Class. I've had it for about 2 months now and it's done about 2,000 miles in that time. I just wanted to give you an update of how it's going. So as you can see, cosmetically nothing much has changed on the B-Class. It is still looking quite clean. I've literally just cleaned it. It was brown about an hour or so ago, so I thought it does need a bit of a clean. Nothing much else to report. Oh, hello matey. I took the dogs out this morning in it, so the boot is fantastic for taking them out. It fits their travel crate in perfectly. I haven't really had to carry too much stuff. Probably the most amount of stuff I have to carry around is the dogs. And all you have to do with the dogs, I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, you have to just remove this little divider just to get the big dog crate in, which isn't too much of a sort of trade-off really. I've been shopping in this car, done a big monthly shopping here. Everything fitted in there fine. A few little bits and pieces, as I say, the boot's been absolutely fine. The main reason I bought this car was because of the boot size, and because I needed to get, there's one little fella and probably another one somewhere around in. Fantastic. So we'll move on to the inside of the car. And as you can see, again, nothing much has changed here. Overall, I do really like the interior of this car. It's very, very functional. Basically, it's black, so nice and easy to keep clean. A lot easier to keep clean than the white on the outside. As I've been for, white wasn't really my sort of first choice in colour, but I had to buy this car because of the condition and the very low mileage. So the interior, as I said, nice and easy to keep clean. I do like its interior. I still say my biggest sort of annoyance, we'll call it, a bit of annoyance really, with this is still this little bit of stitching. It's typical me. You'll get to know me over time if you watch a lot of my video. I do notice little bits of detail, and I just think this stitching was so much better if it was actually white. You get white stitching on the steering wheel and white stitching over here as well on the door card. I don't know why they couldn't carry that through. I've even got some sort of whitish silvery stitching on the door, on the floor mat there. As you can see, that does need a bit of vacuum. That's probably my next job after I finish filming this video today. If we have a look inside, I've put the ignition in, and as you can see, there's sort of a Christmas tree at the moment, but we'll ignore all those warning lights. As you can see, I've done just over 2,000 miles and 2,085 miles, 53.2 miles per gallon, which again, I do a mixture of driving. As you can probably tell from my sort of average speed being just 32 miles an hour, I do some city driving, town driving, and I also do some country road driving and also some A-road and motorway driving. Obviously you can get to the higher speeds on them. Now obviously I do achieve more than this, as I've mentioned before, and I think I've posted on my Instagram page that I have actually got a little sort of competition at the moment to try and see what the best mileage is. I've had, first one I think was 61.3 miles per gallon on average on a one, so obviously with that you're achieving sort of mid-60s I'd imagine, up to maybe even towards 70. And the next one was 60.1. Both of those were mainly motorway ones as well. So as you can see, I think that's quite a good MPG considering that I do use this car all round. Obviously it would vary. If you used it around town, the MPG would be less. If you used it obviously on motorways a lot more, it would be a lot more, and you'd be getting towards 60 on that average MPG. The rest of the interior is fine. I've used the sat nav on here just a couple of times. I don't really go that many places I don't know where I'm going. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the driving I do, I never sort of know where I'm going. As you've probably seen from my last video, I've bought a dash cam. I did, on the way to the Mercedes-Benz pub meet, I did witness a car accident, which is just my luck. And if you saw that video, you'll have seen that I didn't have a dash cam fitted at the time. Actually, my dash cam's plugged in there with a little USB. Probably can't see it quite there, it's a bit too dark at the moment, light's fading at the moment. And I've got this one. Yeah, look at you. You're not going out again today. You've been out once in the car already. Stop trying to steal the show, mate. Why don't you go for a nap or something? Very good when you go for a nap. Well, I think you might have just woken up for a nap. That's why you're so cranky. So yes, as I said, I was putting out a car accident off my train of thought now out and witnessed a car accident while I was going to this pub meet, and I didn't have a dash cam. If you want to see more about the dash cam that I bought, I recommend you view my last video, my last upload, which was last week, and I go into a lot more detail about the dash cam. As I mentioned in that video, the one in the SLK I've had for 6 years now, so that's starting to play up a little bit. I think that's possibly time for it to replaced with something else. I think that'll probably stay in the SLK. I'm not using it over the winter that much, and I might possibly, depending on how this one goes, I might possibly buy another one of these and put that in the SLK ready for the show season next year. So that is pretty much it on the interior, not too much else to report. Now I don't know if I actually pointed this out on my last video, but actually I should have mentioned the introduction to B-Class. Actually, if you have a look here, you can just see this actually is the original factory plastic seal on there. It's actually starting to peel off, which probably shows you how little this car has actually been used, and makes you wonder if it's actually been used in the wet or the bad weather or anything, because it's such a fantastic car in condition wise, and even stuff like that just shows that actually nobody really used this car. Obviously I've done 2,000 miles, I'm probably the one person to buy this car because I'm going to put the miles on this, and I've already done 2,000 miles. But I just thought that's such a fantastic little detail, and if you are looking at a low mileage car, has it got that sort of attention to details? It's still got all these little bits and pieces on here that you might not necessarily see in a car that's done maybe triple the mileage, maybe done 100,000 miles. So just to finish off a little bit of an update, I thought I'd talk about the engine, so I thought it was more appropriate to come around and look under the engine. I've just topped up a little bit on the windscreen washer fluid as well while I'm here, should already do. I should have mentioned when I did the exterior, I still haven't replaced this yet. As you can see, it's a little bit tarnished and actually a little bit wobbly as well. It's not very dangerous, it is still firmly attached, but it's just a little bit, I think the mechanism that makes it swivel around a bit, so if you hit someone it swivels back, I think that's just gone a little bit. I will look at probably replacing that just with a flat badge. I'm not going to have one of these again. I think it's still too many on there. I don't think you should either have that or that, and I know I've discussed this before with Mercedes enthusiasts, and it's either one or the other but not both. So this, obviously, as I mentioned in my video, is a 1.8 litre diesel engine. As I've already mentioned, it's given me an average about 50 odd miles per gallon. Very good mileage I'm getting out of it. I'm really happy with that. That's one of the reasons I bought it. Obviously £30 tax as well, so nice, and loads of tax as well. In terms of power, obviously it's not going to set the road alight. It does have enough power to get you down the road quite nicely though. I've never felt that I'm short of power, but then again I've never been on a waste track in this car, so I don't really feel that I need any more power. I think North 60 half top made about 10.7 seconds. So again, that is more than enough for the type of driving I do. Again, town driving, you don't really need a lot of power in town because you only go as fast as the person you're queuing behind in front. On the motorway, it gets you up obviously to 70 as fast as anything else really. The only thing I will mention, if you do drive the other car, like the SLK, I went out in the SLK a few weeks ago, so I'll give it a bit of a run out, and you do notice the power difference. I think to say the SLK 0 to 60 time is 7 seconds dead actually. So it's about 4 seconds near enough, 0 to 60 times. So the SLK certainly has more of a sense of urgency when you put your foot down, whereas it doesn't. But that's not why I bought this car. This is a fantastic daily driver. It's practical, you get a lot of economical features from the engine, not a good MPG. And overall, I'm really impressed with the B-Class. I have to admit, I've overlooked the B-Class in the Mercedes range. I think a lot of people do. I think maybe people don't think, is it a proper Mercedes-Benz? The feel of this car and the quality, you know, you can't beat it really for me. So I just wanted to give you a quick little update on the B-Class, and just that I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic little car and does everything I wanted to have a daily driver. Obviously the SLK is still going to be my favourite car at the two because it is the car that means more to me. As I mentioned before, I thought about saying the SLK this year, but I just couldn't do it. I am going to be doing an update video on the SLK. I'm hoping to go up tomorrow and drive it, because it's been sat in my parents' garage for a couple of weeks now. I haven't had a chance to drive it, so I'm open to that. I might do a bit of filming while I'm doing that as well and give you an update on the SLK. But I think now it's goodbye from myself, goodbye from the B-Class, and goodbye from these two little fellas who I think want dinner now. So I will see you very soon. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you put a like. If you want to know anything else about the B-Class, make sure you comment. I'll do my best to answer your questions as ever. And obviously make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.